नंदन प्रज जन रंजनाय शोदानंदन प्रज जन रंजनाय यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा गोविंद राधे जय राधा गोविंद राधे जय जगन्नाथ बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। Hare Krishna. We are reading from Caitanya Caritamrta, Adi Lila, chapter 4, text 51 to 56. So 56th verse has the purport. So the 51 onwards, no purport. So I'll just read those verses. Sureshanam drurgam gati atisaye nopa nishadamam muninam sarvasam pranata patalinam madhurima Viniryasha premno nikhilapasu palambuja drusham Sachaitanya kim me punarapi dosharyati padam. Translation of text 51. Lord Chaitanya is the shelter of the demigods, the goal of the Upanishads, the be all and end all of the great sages, the beautiful shelter of his devotees, and the essence of love for the lotus-eyed gopis. Will he again be object of my vision? Text 52. Let me just read the translation. Lord Chaitanya desired to taste the limitless nectarian mellows of the love of one of his multitude of loving damsels, Sri Radha. And so he has assumed the form of Lord Chaitanya. He has tasted that love while hiding his own dark complexion with her effulgent yellow color. May that Lord Chaitanya confer upon us his grace. Purport, texts 51 and 52 are from the Stavamala of Srila Rupa Goswami. Text 53. To accept ecstatic love is the main reason he appeared and re-established the religious system for this age. I shall now explain that reason. Everyone please listen. Text 54. Having first given hints about the verse describing the principal reason why Lord appeared, now I shall manifest its full meaning. Text 56. The loving affairs of Sri Radha and Krishna are transcendental manifestations of the Lord's internal pleasure-giving potency. Although Radha and Krishna are one in their identity, they separated themselves eternally. Now these two transcendental identities have again united in the form of Sri Krishna. I bow down to him who has manifested himself with the sentiment and complexion of Srimati Radharani, although he is Krishna himself. This text is from the diary of Srila Swarup Damodar Goswami. It appears at the 5th and the first 14 verses of Sri Caitanya Caritamrta. So now we'll recite the 56th verse. Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chaira Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So please repeat after me. Text 56. Radha Krishna Eka Atma Dui Dehadhari. Anyone Vilase Rasa Aswadanakari. Radha Krishna Eka Atma Dui Dehahari. Anyone Vilase Rasa Aswadanakari. Radha Krishna Eka Atma Dui Dehadhari. Anyone Vilase Rasa Aswadanakari. अन्योने विलासे रस त्वदन करी राधा कृष्ण एकात्मा दुई देहधारी अन्योने विलासे रस आत्मदान करे राधा कृष्ण एकात्मा दुई देहधारी अन्योने विलासे रस आत्मदान करे राधा कृष्ण एकात्मा दुई देहधारी अन्योने विलासे रस स्वादान करे One else? Okay. राधा कृष्ण एकात्मा दुई देहधारी अन्योने विलासे रस स्वादान करे राधा कृष्ण एकात्मा दुई देहधारी अन्योने विलासे रसा स्वदाना करे What by what meaning? Radha Krishna, Radha and Krishna. Eka, one. Atma, self. Dvi, two. Deha, bodies. Dhari, assuming. Anyone, one another. Vilase, they enjoy. Rasa, the mellow of love. Aswadana Kari, tasting. Translation and purport by Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation: Radha and Krishna are one and the same, but they have assumed two bodies. Thus, they enjoy each other, tasting the mellows of love. Purport: the two transcendentalists, Radha and Krishna, are a puzzle to materialists. The above description of Radha and Krishna from the diary of Srila Swarup Damodara Goswami is a condensed explanation. But one needs great spiritual insight to understand the mystery of these two personalities. One is enjoying in two. Sri Krishna is the potent factor and Srimati Radharani is the internal potency. According to Vedanta philosophy, there is no difference between the potent and potency. They are identical. We cannot differentiate between one and the other, any more than we can separate fire from heat. Everything in the Absolute is inconceivable in the relative existence. Therefore, in relative cognizance, it is very difficult to assimilate this truth of the oneness between the potent and the potency. The philosophy of inconceivable oneness and difference propounded by Lord Caitanya is the only source of understanding of such intricacies of transcendence. In fact, Radharani is the internal potency of Sri Krishna, and she eternally intensifies the pleasure of Sri Krishna. Impersonalists cannot understand this without the help of a Mahabhagavata devotee. The very name Radha suggests that she is eternally the topmost mistress of the comforts of Sri Krishna. As such, she is the medium transmitting the living entity's service to Sri Krishna. Devotees from Vrindavan therefore seek the mercy of Srimati Radharani in order to be recognized as loving servitors of Sri Krishna. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally approaches the fallen conditioned souls of the Iron Age to deliver the highest principle of transcendental relationships with the Lord. The activities of Lord Chaitanya are primarily in the role of the pleasure-giving portion of his internal potency. The absolute personality of Godhead Sri Krishna is the omnipotent form of transcendental existence, knowledge and bliss in full. His eternal potency is exhibited first as Sat or existence, or in other words, as the portion that expands the existence function of the Lord. The same potency, while displaying full knowledge, is called Chit or Samvit, which expands the transcendental forms of the Lord. Finally, the same potency, while playing as a pleasure giving medium, is known as Ladini or the transcendental blissful potency. Thus, the Lord manifests his internal potency in three transcendental divisions. Offer prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Sri Caitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam tam sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Sha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pashatya De Satarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvise Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. I seek blessings of all assembled devotees, Pancharatna Prabhu and all senior devotees. I can discuss on these exalted verses from Chaitanya Caritamrta. This is a verse, very famous verse, generally spoken for the appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This verse gives the reason, the internal reason, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. So, here it's mentioned, Prabhupada mentions in the purport that to understand Radha and Krishna is not an easy subject matter. It is very bewildering for many. What to speak of Radha and Krishna, for many, even the Supreme Lord, who is Lord, is bewildering. When I was studying in my university, one professor, so we were practicing few devotees in our university. So one professor asked my friend, he is a big professor, he asked, can God defeat himself? If he defeats himself, then he is not God. If he can't defeat himself, then how is he God? He can't do something. So the tattva, those who want to understand God with their own understanding, with their inquisitiveness, they get stuck at different places. Like this, to understand God also is not easy. Now what to speak of, that same God, Supreme Lord, has become two, Radha and Krishna, and then they are enjoying each other. So it's very, very difficult matter to understand, even for devotees also, because we can understand in knowledge-wise, but to really realize what does that mean is not easy. Because this is completely in the transcendental spiritual platform. It is. That's why Prabhupada starts his purport that they're transcendentalists. What we see in this world, an attraction between man and woman, is different from what Radha and Krishna are. So they are eternally two personalities. One, but they have become two. So it is the only way to understand Prabhupada is mentioning here is the philosophy of Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva. It is simultaneously one and different. So Radha and Krishna simultaneously they are one, but they are different. They are one in terms of the mellows. They are giving pleasure to each other, but they are different in terms of their personalities, their own forms and all. So these two, another verse, which is often quoted about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Radha Krishna Pranaya Viktir Ladini Saktir Asmad Ekatmau Api Bhuvi Pura Deha Vedam Gatautau Chaitanyakhya Prakatam Adhuna Tadvayam. Yeah, thank you. Chaikyam Aptam Radha Bhavadhvi Swalitam Naunam Krishna Swarupakam. So this is another verse in this is the previous verse, it is text 55, which is often quoted, and then how Radha Bhavadviti Dvis Swalitam Naunam Krishna Swarupam. So this translation says, the loving affairs of Sri Radha and Krishna are transcendental manifestation of the Lord's internal pleasure-giving potency. Although Radha and Krishna are one in their identity, they separated themselves eternally. Now these two transcendental identities have again united in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I bow down to him who has manifested himself with the sentiment and complexion of Srimati Radha Rani, although he is Krishna himself. So Lord has primarily three potencies. He has many potencies, unlimited potencies Lord has, but they are categorized into three. So Lord has unlimited potencies. We cannot even count how many potencies he has, but they are categorized into three. It is Sat, Chit and Ananda. Sat is his existence potency, and Chit is knowledge potency, and the Ananda is the pleasure-giving potency. So Sat is the existence. So we all want to eternally live. Nobody wants to die. That is because we are part and parcel of Krishna. We are expansions of Krishna. So we have that potencies in a very minute quantity. And Chit is the form, is the knowledge potency. So we want to know the knowledge also. We have the inquisitiveness, knowledge, and Ananda, and the pleasure. We are all seeking pleasure. The only problem is we want to be Satchit Ananda in this material body. But this material body is not Satchit Ananda, but it's exactly opposite Asat, Achit, Nirananda. Anything in this body is Asat, it's changing always. So there is Dehi nosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavanam jara. Our body is changing every day, every moment. To Asat it is. And Chit, knowledge, potency. All knowledge we get is all misinformation. And all the knowledge is so much of information is being transmitted in the internet and also all misinformation and useless information. Knowledge is just how to enjoy this body. But the problem is, it's all ends into misery. The Ananda, everybody wants to seek pleasure, but they all end into misery. In this world, the pleasure is only in the anticipation of something we get a pleasure. Only in anticipation, there is pleasure. But once we get that object or that pleasure, there is no pleasure in that. it is very flickering. So the problem is that, that we seek Satchidananda, but in this material body and material relationships and the material objects, in all these relationships. So that is where Mahaprabhu is coming to teach. You cannot have Satchidananda in this material relations or in this material body. So Mahaprabhu is the combined form of Radha and Krishna. They are appearing. The external reason is that they are appearing to propagate the holy name and the Yuga Dharma. So that is the external reason. But the internal reason is to just enjoy. Krishna wants to see what is the pleasure that Radharani is getting by serving me. She is getting more pleasure than me. So how is it that she is getting more pleasure than me, and I want to also relish it. I also wants to relish it. So in that mood, Mahaprabhu appeared to experience the pleasure of the serving of Radharani. So here, Prabhupada again the purport is mentioning how Krishna is the potent and Radharani is the potency. And Prabhupada explains energy and energetic. He gives example of here fire and heat. They are two different ones, but they are still one, because from fire heat comes. So from Krishna, Radharani expanded. But the purpose of our expansion is to give pleasure to Krishna. So like that, so they are one in one sense, and at the same time they are different. But Krishna wants to see that how is that Radharani is experiencing this pleasure. What is that she is able to experience so much of pleasure which I can't. Because Prabhupada explains the object and subject. So object is Krishna and subject is Radharani, so then object becomes subject. That is, Krishna wants to experience that pleasure. So he comes in the mood of Radharani. He comes in the form of Radharani. She comes with the sentiment of Radharani. And Radharani is what her mood and her sentiment and her form is, everything is to serve Krishna. And Prabhupada explains very clearly here that she is the medium transmitting the living entity's service to Krishna. We are all servitors of Krishna. Jivera Swarupaya Nityara Krishnadas. We are all serving Krishna. Our existence is to serve Krishna. Our Swarupa, our Dharma, our nature is to serve Krishna. But because we have forgotten that relationship, we have now serving ourselves, our mind, our ego, our intelligence, our material body, our senses. So that is our misidentification. But our real Swarupa is, our nature is to serve Krishna. Like we are now in the fish out of water. But so how we serve? Through the medium of Radharani. She is the medium. She is the one who serves Krishna, and we are all assisting Krishna in the form of in the transcendental spiritual world. Radharani is expanded into many forms of gopis and manjaris. They are all serving Krishna. So we are all having that transcendental abode. That's why Prabhupada says going back to God, it means to go back and serve Krishna. So all our service is goes to Krishna through Radharani. That's why in the altar you see Radharani is showing her hand like this. She is blessing also for us in our service to Krishna. At the same time, she is stopping also. She wants high quality of service to Krishna. So she makes sure that that our service is of high quality. Quality means that mood, that desire of service to Krishna. And Prabhupada is also mentioning here in Vrindavan, therefore, everyone, the devotees in Vrindavan, they call out Sri Radhe, Jai Radhe, that is to seek the mercy of Radharani, because she is the one who can take us to Krishna. And the same Radharani is is also engages that service, and the same that service is taught by the Guru Parampara. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come. One is to experience that pleasure as in the mood of Radharani, and the other reason is to show that, to teach about that, to show that by his practical example. So that is again the Yuga Dharma, it is the external reason. It is to show that. So in the Guru Parampara, Gurus are teaching us in their practical experience how to serve Krishna in the mood of Radharani. So that's a very, again, transcendental, exalted subject, like how to serve in the mood of Radharani. But at least we have to see that how I can transcend the bodily attachments and then give that attachments to, turn that attachments to Krishna. So we can see in the life of Srila Prabhupada, today also the auspicious day of Srila Prabhupada's departure to the United States. So we can see in the life of Srila Prabhupada how he has completely transcended, and then he has completely transcended his material body to completely serve Krishna by the order of his spiritual master. So we say in the Prabhupada Lilamrut, what is the struggle he went through before he came to America. After came to America also a lot of struggle he went through. But before he came, so many years he struggled to just publish the 3 volumes of Srimad Bhagavatam. So when he took the renounced order of life, so he renounced, and then he came to 1955 to Vrindavan, 55-56, and then he is translating his books, translating the Acharya's books. So his plan is to publish the books and take the books to America. So Prabhupada writes that I'm always wanting to go to New York City, New York. Many wanted to go to London. Many went to London also, his god brothers and all. But Prabhupada he says no, that somehow I wanted to always go to New York. I was always thinking how to go to New York. Either I should go through Japan or I should go through the east side. I'm always thinking how to go, which is cheaper way. And also sometimes I am dreaming that I am in New York. Prabhupada writes in his day, says in one of the lecture. So Prabhupada, when he's preparing how to go to what is that he wants to carry to New York. So he wants to carry this Srimad Bhagavatam. So at that time, Prabhupada has an elaborate plan of 60 volumes he wants to write, 60 volumes of Bhagavatam. So because elaborate purports and the translation, purport and all, 60 volumes he had a plan. So he approached many publishers, the well-known publishers in India at that time, with his idea of publishing 60 volumes of Srimad Bhagavatam. Because it's a religion subject and such a big effort, no publisher could take his work. So Prabhupada now left to publish himself. The publishing at that time in India is not an easy task, and especially he didn't have any money. He had he writes in his diary that he had like 400 rupees at that time, something like 400 something rupees. And then he's staying in Vrindavan. He's always going to Delhi and meeting different personalities, different wealthy people, and showing, he has published a pamphlet about Srimad Bhagavatam and showing that he wants to publish this book, 60 volumes. His original thought was earlier, I'll publish the whole 60 volumes Bhagavatam and then go to US, America. So he wanted to originally publish 60 volumes, all Srimad Bhagavatam, and carry with him. So, but he found that no publisher is ready to publish it. So now he has to do it himself. So even publish one volume, it would take thousands of rupees. Like at that time, 7,000 rupees it would take at least to publish one volume. And 60 volumes would take his whole lifetime to raise that money and to publish. So many, those who know his friends and all, they were telling, it's like big endeavor, like that. But Prabhupada never discouraged, got discouraged. He always saw that resources are not a problem. He always thought that if Krishna desires, he can provide unlimited resources. I just have this strong desire to please my Guru Maharaj. So he approached many personalities to at least to raise money to publish first volume of first canto. And then with one contact, whom he would go and stay in Sharmaji in India, in Delhi, he got reference that you should go to Gorakhpur and then meet this Gorakhpur Press founder. It's a big publisher. What's his name? Hanuman Prasad Poddar. Yeah. So you should meet him. And then this Sharmaji wrote a letter and gave. And then Prabhupada went and met that person, this Hanuman Prasad Poddar, and he liked his work. And then he immediately gave 4,000 rupees. With that 4,000 rupees, Prabhupada came back and went to this publisher, the press actually. And then he went and, sure, I have this seed deposit, you can start publishing. And then Sharmaji himself had the press. But his press is small press. He could publish only in 10 font size. But Prabhupada wanted 12 font size. Prabhupada never compromised. Even many were telling, why you want to publish in a 60 volume? Why can't you do it in 1 or 2 volumes, Srimad Bhagavatam? Prabhupada never, his plan, he never compromised on it. He had a grand vision, he's a visionary, and he always stick to it, how to make it possible. This was 1962 that he went and met this Hanuman Prasad Poddar and got this. And the printing of first volume started in a different press, printing press, for this 12 font in 1962. And it took 2 years for that first volume to publish. So they would first, Prabhupada had manuscripts, they would put it, everything. That time there was no typewriter also. Even if typewriter, you have to arrange everything in a press. Everything is manual process. And then they would print a copy of manuscripts in papers and they'd give to Prabhupada. Prabhupada proofread them and make corrections. And the corrections goes back to the press, chapter by chapter, page by pages. And they again set that with the corrections. And the second proof is given to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada correct again that, because again mistakes in that. And then he would send it. And then the third proof would go actually to print more things. Again, the printing happened. Prabhupada designed himself, if you have seen the first canto, the earlier version, the jacket, the artwork with one of his Bengali person he knows in Delhi, through him he designed, he gave the guidance how it should be the creation, the lotus and all the forms of Vishnu. And he would buy the paper and bring it to the press. The press would just print, but no paper he has to supply. Whatever money he would get, he would bring that paper. And then he would go and collect and money with different people asking for money. Even 1 rupee or 2 rupees. And then he would walk every day 2 miles almost from where he's staying in Chipiwara temple to this press, where all these presses are there, printing press. So 2 miles almost, he would walk every day because he didn't want to waste money for rickshaw or for, mainly at that time this people pulling rickshaw, tanga, the horse pulling carts were there. He didn't want to waste money on that. So he would even not eat properly. All money he would put it for publishing. So it took almost 2 years of struggle. Even there was some, in the hot sun, he would once got fainted. So there are many hardships he endeavored to publish this Srimad Bhagavatam. So after all these endeavors, they published 100 copies of the first volume of Srimad Bhagavatam. The plan was to publish 1,000 or 2,000 copies. So first 100 copies, but the press started printing. And also the binding is also manual. Prabhupada would be into each and every detail. So what would happen is, Because Prabhupada has not paid cash in full. So at that time, the press, what they would do is that they would take a deposit and then they start printing. And then as they print and then give the copies to the owner, and the owner would go and sell those books and bring back the money to print more and to take more copies. So it would be like an account, it's like a running credit account they would have. So at that time, that was the practice. But some would come with cash. Many others who had cash, they would come with full cash. So that would take priority in the press. The press name was OK Press, which Prabhupada published the first volume. So OK Press. So this person, would keep Prabhupada's publishing in secondary. So Prabhupada would come every day to the press and see that he would publish. But already some other work was taken priority because some other came and gave the cash. And Prabhupada would become upset. And he would argue with the press owner. And he would fight with him. He would become very upset. Now, you wasted my time, my day, whole day is gone. I came all the way. You wasted my day. You are not doing any work today. Yesterday also didn't do any work. I have no time. My time is very short. And then he would be very much concerned that, when will I publish this? And then he would become sometimes become angry actually. But because he is elderly and a sadhu, the press person, okay, tomorrow I will take your work, and would do something like that. So at every time there is a delay because of different things. So at last that one volume got published, and with one volume Prabhupada went and started meeting all the influential people and started giving. His style of book distribution at that time was to go to institutes, the libraries, the colleges, the universities. He would go to the Ministry of Education and he would meet all the government officials because to get the bulk orders, because he was to distribute this first volume which he had and make money, whatever money he would get it, he would again want to put it now in the second volume. While all this happening, he would go every day in the Delhi, he would go every day with the press and all, he would come back. And then in the evening and mornings and night, he would start writing the manuscripts. He didn't have a typewriter also at that time. He was writing with hand the manuscripts. He would translate the second volume. He was making ready the second volume. So after the first volume is published and the second volume, so he's trying to catch up, so he went to Vrindavan, he stayed there to write second volume to major part, and then he came back and started distributing the books. He even met the vice president of that time, Zakir Hussain, and then he got a review. He got good reviews with the first volume itself. Many influential people took, and he got good orders also. The Ministry of Education, they took, some schools, libraries, others, they all took and all like that. So he got very encouraged, and then now to publish second volume, the book sales is not enough. He would sell each book for 16 rupees at the time, each book. He would give and then less also. So now he wants to find another donor for second volume. So again in Delhi, he would go and knock so many doors. He is going and then meeting so many influential people again in Delhi to get the second volume. And one philanthropist, he said, okay, I'll help you with this publishing the second volume, seeing the work of first volume. He said, he gave like 3,000 rupees or something like that to him. And then with that, the second volume went into the printing. And then second volume, 1964, started printing. In the beginning of 1964, he started printing the second volume. So because he already has review and all, it became very smooth that in the same year, the second volume also came out. And with the two volumes now, Prabhupada is going and meeting very many influential people. He even met the Prime Minister of India. That famous photo is there, one photo, meeting the Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri, and then presenting the books to him. And then with so many gave good reviews. And with this photo with Prime Minister, with him, and all, he would go and widely try to distribute. Wherever the first volume they all took the second volume. And even he asked the Prime Minister, he wrote a letter to Prime Minister that please tell in your government official, in the government departments to take this book, and he would say, how this book is the answer for all the problems, like that. And the Prime Minister at that time, he actually replied to Prabhupada, and he sent a circular to all the departments also that to take his books, and he got more orders and all. Then second volume got published after that, and then the third volume now he wants to publish. Again the book sales not enough. Now third volume he wants to find another donor for it. So now he went to Gorakhpur. In Delhi he exhausted all the contacts. He thought, okay, let me go to Bombay now for a third volume to find a sponsor for a donor. And then he went to Bombay. There he came to know through his godbrothers that this person, Sumati Murarji, she has a ship company, and she is very philanthropic towards the sadhus, and she has helped the Gaudiya Math there, Bombay Gaudiya Math. So Prabhupada went to meet her. He couldn't get her appointment only, he couldn't get her audience. The other officers in that company, they would always say that she's not there, give different reasons. For a few days, Prabhupada tried to go and meet her. It didn't happen. And Prabhupada thought, no, it's not going to work. I'll just sit here on the steps here on this office of the India's steamship company. I'll sit here whole day, and when she comes out, I'll meet her. So on that day, he was sitting and chanting for 5 hours, more than 5 hours, on the steps of this, on the outside steps of this company. And in the afternoon, late afternoon, while she is leaving, while she came out, she saw this sadhu, gentleman, sitting on the steps and chanting. And she asked her secretary, and his name is Chosky, who is this person sitting here? And then he said that he wants to meet you. He has been coming for a few days now, but somehow your schedule didn't allow. And then she went to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada, how can I serve you? And then he showed the 2 books and said, I want to publish the third book, third volume. And she said, okay, tomorrow you come to the office. And then next day he goes, and then he explains everything. And then she said, okay, you go to Delhi, you start the publishing work, I'll support whatever is needed. And the third volume, within 6 months, Prabhupada published. It's almost like this is now within few months, he published the third volume. So by the March of 1964, he has now 3 volumes. Now Prabhupada's changed his plan. He thinks that, okay, now I have the first canto ready with me, now let me go to America. He didn't even change the plan actually, So he is now thinking of how to publish ahead and how to go to America. Suddenly, he gets a letter from the Ministry of External Affairs in India that he is being cleared to travel. He has a clearance to go to America. And Prabhupada wondered, what happened? I never applied to go to America. What happened? I got a letter from this ministry. So he goes to the ministry in Delhi and he inquires what happened. Then he says, this letter coming from the New York embassy that he has a clearance to come to, because the Gopal Agarwal, one person, Gopal Agarwal, has applied in the New York embassy or the Home Department, I think, or something in New York, for inviting Prabhupada. And he gave his bank statements, his balance, his everything, that he's ready to sponsor Prabhupada, like that. Then Prabhupada remembered that in many months back, on the passing, he met one person, Agarwal. Prabhupada, his name is also not mentioned, just made Agarwal. One Agarwal in Mathura. And then this Agarwal would always say, my son is in America, my son is in America. And many sadhus would tell, can he help me to come to America? And then this Agarwal say, okay, I'll tell my son. And then like that, Prabhupada also met this person, Agarwal, and then Prabhupada said, I want to go to America. And then Prabhupada never expected that something will happen through that conversation. It was a very brief conversation. He never expected. And Prabhupada saw that, that Agarwal actually went and spoke to his son, and the son, he has sent this clearance from New York to the Delhi Ministry of Affairs, Then Prabhupada took that as a sign that now I have to go to America. Instead of publishing the Bhagavatam, I'll stop here. These 3 volumes are good. And then I'll go to America. Then he arranged to publish 200 sets of those 3 volumes. That means I'll carry 200 sets. Now how to go? So at that time, one is he didn't have money. And then there are so many other clearances, government clearances he has to get. So again, he understood that, okay, Sumati Murarji has this steamship. So I'll go, if I go and approach her, she can put me in one of her ships and I can go. So he goes to meet her again, and then he tells her his plan. Then Srimati Murarji says, Swamiji, why you want to go to America? You have this plan of publishing Srimad Bhagavatam. Why don't you be in India and publish the books? I'll support you for that. You keep publishing your books. Then but Prabhupada says, no, I want to go to America. And she's very adamant, and she says, no, I can't send you to America. There was a lot of back and forth, and there are few meetings with her, where, because she's more concerned of Prabhupada, because she says that, no, you are old, and you don't know anything. Here at least some people understand what Srimad Bhagavatam is, and they are taking books from you, and you have some good reviews you got, and you got some good encouraging thing for your books. If you go to America, what will happen? Nobody would even know what Srimad Bhagavatam is. And it doesn't know, it is such a foreign place it is. And it's not, you don't know, there is so much cold and you're already old. So she says, no, I can't send you. But somehow Prabhupada convinces her, and then she says, okay, you get your P-form, passport and all other details, and then I'll send you. And then Prabhupada becomes, okay, this is a step forward. And then he goes to get his passport. Then he started, till then you get all this, because all those are happening in Bombay only can happen, because all the offices are easy there. Stay in the quarters of the India company's quarters. Prabhupada stay there. He was given an apartment without any furniture. And and all those residents of the quarters would bring him fruits and different food for him. And he would give some classes. But anyway, so then the P-form took a lot of time. And then he would go and knock different the government officials. P-form is something which the government has to give a clearance that this person doesn't have any debts, substantial debts, he can leave the country. So that is the bank, State Bank of India, they would give that. And then the same it is that the bank manager, the head of that, he said, I can't give you the P-form. He declined it. And Prabhupada said, please don't decline, send it to your manager. And that manager, Prabhupada goes and meets and he approves. So now everything's set. Now Prabhupada is set. And now after he comes back, now he has everything, passport, P-form, he has got a visa also to the United States. Everything is there. Now he's there sitting in his apartment, but his date is not finalized. Sumati Murarji, again he goes and keeps telling her, when are you sending me? When are you sending me? And then lot of delay and all like that. So at last in August 13th, his date is set from Calcutta to board the ship Jaladuta, because Sumati Murarji was seeing which ship he can travel comfortably, where the crew is more favorable for a Swamiji like that. So this Pandya, who is the captain at the time, so then she thought, okay, we can send Swamiji to that. And Prabhupada comes to Calcutta. Again, he was staying with one Sisir Bhattacharya, who met when he was meeting with the governor of Uttar Pradesh. So basically, it took 1962 to 65, 3 plus 66. 65. Prabhupada came to 65 in August here. 3 years to publish his 3 volumes of book. It is a struggle, whole struggle. And then we all know how he boarded Jaladuta and came with all struggle. And then after coming here, for 1 year, again the struggle. He changed 6 places in that 1 year. He didn't have a proper place to stay. After coming in New York and different places, we all know that how it is at the interest of time. We'll stop here. So coming back to this verse, that how, like how Prabhupada is showing service, keeping aside. Prabhupada even writes in one of the purport that we are like the other ordinary businessmen, like we are dealing with money. When he was going in Delhi, he would go to different printing presses, he would buy and bargain, and then he would get these papers and all. And then a saffron person wearing saffron dress in that market, in that press, the whole lane is all printing presses and all. There would not be any saffron person there. They are all different people for their own business or different publishers and all that. Prabhupada writes, we are also working like the hard working like others, business people, but they are doing it for their own pleasure. But I am doing it for Krishna's pleasure. That's the difference. So when that difference, with that relation you understand, then we can understand the Radha Krishna pastimes, understand the Mahaprabhu's mood. So we pray that to get this understanding by our Acharyas, especially Prabhupada. So we'll stop here. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much for the class. I just had a reflection you were saying about, I just like that point that our body, you said Satchit Ananda, but our bodies are not Satchit Ananda, they're actually the exact Asat, no Chit Nirananda. I like that point. I never heard this example of Srimati Radharani's blessing, but she's also stopped to purify that devotional service must be of a higher quality, best for Krishna. And yeah, I appreciated those points. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Swami, thank you for your katha. And in the beginning, when you were talking about Radha and Krishna, I know in the Dashama Skandha, the 10th canto, that Shukdev Goswami, he doesn't say Radha's name directly. And might you have some reasoning behind that?
Yeah, we heard that Sukadeva Goswami is one of the parrots of Srimati Radharani. So he has a task of speaking Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj. Because Parikshit Maharaj is leaving his body in 7 days. So he didn't want to distract from that task of speaking Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj. So he is afraid that if he speaks the name of Radharani or anything like that, he would go into transcendental ecstasy, that he would not be able to speak. So that's why he didn't take up that name directly. Indirectly he took name, because name and form are non-different. So the personalities in that, like Sukadeva Goswami's platform, they see name and personality non-different. For us, name is different, personality different. We don't have that realization. But their Sukadeva Goswami's platform is a pure transcendental platform where if he speaks the name, he would be with Radharani, and then he would see Radharani, and then he would go into that ecstasy and to serving her and all like that. So he didn't want to divert from the task, because Parikshit Maharaj is sitting right there. So he didn't speak like that.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, you mic there.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
I'm just a little unclear on the point you made about that question that professor had.
I thought you all know the answer, that's why I didn't touch that.
Sorry. I guess it's more like, is it another way of Krishna tricking or deceiving? I'm not sure.
So what happened, then this professor asked my friend, we didn't have any answer. We were also so new in practicing in our university. So we didn't know the answer, but we didn't stop the practice. But he was atheist, the professor is. And he would have different arguments. So later, after 1 year, I got an opportunity to ask this question to Jayadvaita Swami when he came in Pune, like 25 years back this is. So I asked this question to Jayadvaita Swami. He answered, yeah, that's possible. So Krishna, so I asked the same question, that if God can God defeat himself? If he defeats, then he's not God. If he can't, then he's not God. So Jayadvaita Swami simple said that, yes, Krishna expands into Balram, and Balram defeats Krishna, and then Krishna defeats Balram. So still he's God. So that way here also, Krishna expands into Radha and Krishna, and then they are impressed with potency. Hare Krishna. The Prabhupada also asked once this question in Ohio State University. This one student, can God create a stone that which he cannot lift? If he creates a stone which he cannot lift, then the stone is powerful than the God. And if he cannot create, then what kind of God he is? The Prabhupada answered, Krishna's potencies are all expanding, ever expanding, always expanding. Yes, Krishna can create a stone which he cannot lift. It's so heavy that he himself cannot lift. The next moment, his potency expands, more powerful than a stone, and he lifts. So Prabhupada answered this. So it's inconceivable, but yes, Prabhu.
So when Krishna lays down, I believe, under a pipal tree, and the hunter comes and he uses his arrow and it shoots Krishna's foot.
Mahavishnu.
Mahavishnu. So Mahavishnu organized that in such a way that the hunter would come, yes?